Pull over. Don't move. Your hands up. Within less than a minute, I was pushed right into the bright yellow wall. With my face smashed into the bricks, I couldn't see the police officer, but for God's sake, he must have been built like Hulk, telling by the force he exerted on me. I couldn't move a single finger. And I was a muscular and fit black male from the hood in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Of all people, me who had gotten in so many fights, never been defeated once, was powerless in front of this policeman. Releasing me a little, but still exerting a certain strength on me, he told me to lay flat against the wall and to spread my legs. He started searching for I don't know what for. His hands went from the top of my arms to the bottom of my legs, still searching, and by God, he didn't leave a millimeter square of skin unchecked. I flexed my back muscles just to let him know I could easily overtake him. He did notice since he slowed down a little, but he didn't probe any further. I was still confused and frustrated, but I kept my silence. I did not want to say anything that would cause him to use unnecessary force or harassment against me. On reaching my ass, I think he thought that anything he was looking for was buried deep in my ass. His hands kept on slowing, following the hard-earned round curves of my ass and then going up right between my ass cheeks. I still don't know if I imagined it or not, but I think that for just a second, he came to a complete halt with his thumb pressing on my asshole. I could feel my ass beginning to sweat with nervous tension, and I was wondering what the fuck this officer thought he was doing to me. His hands went on deep inside between my legs and touched my balls, to which he gave a small poke, and then went on again with this research process down my legs. It was only when it was over that I realized that all this time, I was flexing my ass muscles too. I could feel my ass muscles contracting back and forth, and the sweat on my ass making it wet did not help either. Turn around. His voice was very deep. I could tell by his strong voice, his incredible force, and his powerful hands that this man behind me was nothing small. I turned around slowly and looked him right in the eyes. He was almost like me, well-defined facial features, snow-white teeth, black hair with a fade cut, except for his eyes, which were of a rare shadow of gray blue, and for his uniform, which seemed ready to explode at any moment with all his muscles bulging out of it. He checked me out in the front again, like he did. All this time, I kept looking straight at him. When his hands were over my chest, I flexed my six-pack to the maximum and made sure he noticed it. I was willing to do what I had to avoid getting arrested this particular day, and if it meant giving this dude some ass or head, I was ready to service him. I could feel my dick getting an erection. I glanced down at it, and it was very noticeable in my sagging skinny jeans. I noticed a small grin forming on the corners of his lips. I wondered, why would a strongly built policeman like him grin on my brick-hard erection? That was until I felt his hands searching my cock and balls. I looked down and almost shouted. I sure blushed and swore a little to myself under my breath, but this wouldn't change anything. South, there I was, rock hard. I had an XXXL bulging out of my pants, almost half the width of my legs. I had my dad to thank for my thick and hung endowment. I would always hear the cries of some random chick he would screw on the back porch or in the basement when my mother was at work. Nothing seemed to stop this dude while he was patting me down and molesting me with his bare hands. His hands run all the way up and down my shaft and my balls. I was so embarrassed. Fortunately, there was almost nobody in the street except for a young lady who seemed to enjoy the view of this policeman squeezing out my hard bulge. She glanced and seemed to watch for a while, like all the other nosy-ass folks do in Lawrenceville, and soon as the light changed, she pulled off and drifted into the darkness. It was weird having him kneeling down in front of me with his mouth almost same level as my dick. Yet, there he was,